This video will show you how to replace the downstream O2 sensor on a Mazda 3. This will be located under the front of your vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. First, we need to locate our downstream O2 sensor, which is tucked up and above this shield. We're going to remove this shield. To do that, you're going to find that you have several 10mm bolts that we have to dislodge. We'll start up along the front. We have 3 up here. Along either side of this, we're going to find another set of 10mm bolts. Now this one right here should actually hold this plastic shield. As you can tell, our shield is damaged. Go ahead and set this aside. Now we have 6 pieces of 12mm hardware. There's 3 along either side of this panel. Let's start removing these. For this center mounting bolts, I'm going to leave it in just a couple threads. Now before we remove that one final mounting bolt, let's just have a quick look along either side of the shield. You're going to find that you have a tab that goes up and over the body of the vehicle here. So in this case, we'll have to fully remove that bolt. We'll maneuver this around enough that we can slide it out of place. Flex this. We can see those tabs along either side of the shield. That exposes our O2 sensor wiring harness. As far as the removal of the O2 sensor, we're going to start at the connector first. You can see that just above this side plastic shield. We do not need to dislodge this shield any further. Now, if you were looking at the gray connector, just above this area, the metal bracket, you're going to find that the connector actually has 2 locking tabs that we can dislodge from this bracket. I'm using some long nose pliers. I'm going to squeeze on the tabs. Once I have those pressed towards each other, I should be able to dislodge it. You can see those locking tabs right along there. I just squeeze them in. Now we're going to spin this until we can find the locking tab for the connector itself. Go ahead and squeeze that in and disconnect the 2 pieces from each other. Once you have it disconnected, a quick inspection for corrosion. This is extremely important, especially on the side that's attached to the vehicle itself. Now we have several mounting points. We have one that attaches to the body of the vehicle. Now this particular type is a single-time use. It's attached to that O2 sensor wiring harness, so I'm going to pull that right out of the body of the vehicle. I'm just using a trim tool. For that, you could also use a flat blade screwdriver. As you can tell, this is essentially a push pin that also has a wire tie, and it would hold it in place. This is something that you're going to want to replace. We'll make our way up towards the exhaust next. You can see that we have 2 mounting points. Now, some good news about this is you do not need to remove the mounting hardware necessarily. If you were looking along the areas where the wiring harness is actually held in place, you're going to find that you have hooked tabs. Gently pry on that hooked area. Once you have that starting to spread, you should be able to slide the wiring through that area. Let's go a little further on this one. We need to pay special attention to the hooked area next. As you continue on, you want to make sure it's not rotted or weak. As you can tell, this is in good condition. I'm not worried about the wiring falling out of that. Let's continue on. Now we're done with the mounting points. We're going to follow this all the way up to the O2 sensor. The O2 sensor is attached to the top of this pipe right along here. Use some penetrant as necessary. To remove this, you're going to be using an O2 sensor socket. You can see that it has a slot through here for the wiring. There it is, friend. Prior to installation of any brand new part, we need to make sure we clean and inspect the mounting surface. Now we have the exhaust pipe where the O2 sensor needs to go. I'm going to use some fine sandpaper and give this a light scuffing. We'll just make sure we have a clean mating surface. Now it's time to install the brand new Downstream O2 sensor. You'll find on the threaded portion we have some anti-seize. Just make sure there's no anti-seize on the sensing agent all the way down at the very tip of the O2 sensor. If there is, just go ahead and wipe it off of there. Don't use any type of detergent. We're going to start this in by hand. Twist it clockwise until it bottoms out. Make sure you do not overly twist the wiring and cause any damage. Okay, so right there is bottomed out. We're just going to take this a tiny bit further. We don't want to cause any damage, but you do want to make sure you lightly crimp down on that gasket. That's going to seal it and protect against having an exhaust leak in this area. Now that we have that tight, we're going to continue on with the wiring harness across the catalytic converter heat shields. Looking at the old O2 sensor, we can see that we do have these rubber mounts. You can pry those out of place. Should slide right off of there. We'll set that aside for disposal. Continuing on, we can take those two tabs that we just removed from the original wiring, and we're going to slide them in place onto the brand new O2 sensor wiring harness. Continue on by sliding that up onto its mounting bracket. We're going to leave this loose temporarily. Let's continue on to our next mounting point. As far as both of these are concerned, I'm only lightly crimping them down. I still want to be able to move my wiring around as necessary. I'm just going to press this securing tab into here. Get a wire tie. We'll make sure that this wiring harness is secured along this area. We're also going to leave this loose until we get everything connected, and then we'll take care of the slack. Let's reconnect our electrical connector. For that, we're just going to line it up, press it together. We have our locking tabs. Line this up. We're going to align it with the port in the bracket. Press that in. Give it a wiggle, make sure that's secured in place. Now, as far as the slack on the wiring harness, we essentially just want to make sure that it's not in an area where it could potentially get caught on anything. Obviously, it does make its way across this area. We just don't want it hanging down. Let's press it in along the catalytic converter mounting points. Once you do have it in place, you want to peen these over, but don't crush your wiring. It needs to be far enough that the wiring cannot slide out of place. This is extremely important. Just tighten this area as well. Now let's get our metal shield in place. Along the front portion of this, we have the area for our 10mm mounting bolts. Now, if you were looking at the opposite side of this, the lower side, right in the center, there's an arrow facing towards the front. One last look along this. Along either side, we do have the hooked area, and that hooked area fits into the body of the vehicle. Align all the mounting bolt ports and start in the mounting bolts. We're going to make sure that we come up and above our shield as necessary. We'll flex things. Now we need those tabs to fit into the body of the vehicle. Just go ahead and align it and press it in, and then slide it rearward to lock it down. Now for this, we're going to want to have the driver's side started in first. Just gonna come up nice and high over the passenger side shield. We'll flex things here. You can see that I have that in position here. On the other side. We've got our 10mm bolts next. As far as this passenger side shield, we should have a mounting bolt here. As you can tell, our shield is broken. Now obviously I just want to put a bolt in here to hold this in place. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our Downstream O2 sensor. The next thing we'll do is make our way out from under the vehicle. Once it's back on the ground, you're going to run the vehicle. Make sure you have no running condition and no check engine light, and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.